My name is Whitney Boachimensa. I am the CEO of Innovations Events WBM. I am half Ga, I am half Ethiopian, I am half Nigerian. Yeah. My mom is half Ga and half Nigerian. My dad is Ethiopian, full-blooded Ethiopian. We come from Latte. But I like to say we're Ghanaians. I've done all the education there is to do. I do events, but I train professionally as a broadcast journalist. And then I realized that journalism money isn't enough. So I went back to do marketing, I went to do PR and events. So that's what I'm doing now. My mom is late. My mom passed away last year. I have two siblings, Patrick and Jesse. And I am married. My maiden name is Ohene Obeng, but my married name is, which most people don't know. A lot of people assume that I am Whitney Boachimensa, but it's my married name. I am married to, I call him a kind soul. And I have a 3-year-old son going on 300. My mom was a single parent, and she was one straight single parent. She said the fact that she's a single parent doesn't mean that you can walk all over her. So I remember you come back from school every day without failure. She go through your bags. It happened to my brother and I. My sister was quite small, but my brother and she go through your bags. Anything she sees that she never bought for you, anything you never got from holidays, it means that you got from somebody else. So who gave it to you? If you bought it, where did you get the money from? Because you took lunch to school, car went to drop you. So where did you get the money from? That was the kind of mother I had. Even when we grew taller than her, she said, she always used to say, "Manyama tunimak botwe," when you misbehave, because being me. And I that made us know what buttons to touch and what buttons not to push. I think I kind of rebelled because one, when you come from a very strict home, and then finally you get your release in the world via boarding school or anything, you're tempted to try almost everything because that's freedom. But at some point you realize that really, how much of it can you have? How much of it can you abuse? There's more to life than going out to parties every day. There's more to life than hanging out with friends who, at the end of the day, what really do they impact on your life? So I know, looking back now, I must have caused her a lot of heartache, especially where I was the firstborn, and especially where she was expecting more of me. And I always say to other young ladies that, listen, there's no advice as solid as your mother's. No matter how much you see it to be old-fashioned, there's no advice like your mother's, because at every point in time, she's been through where you are. And she's passed through it, she's gotten to where she is. So definitely she would know what she's talking about. Times might be different now, but she's been through that phase before. So I guess it was probably because she always said that I was that impressionable age. So everything impressed me. And it's true. So it happens, but you learn from it. It is up to you. And definitely, I always say it, with everybody that rebels, there's an epiphany. At that point, you either decide, listen, I'm going to either leave the old ways behind me, get on with a new life, or I am going to stay where I am and never grow out of it. These days, I'd say, funny enough, when I kind of had that epiphany, we became friends. I would say be straight, but be friends. Especially the girls, let her be your friend, so that she will be comfortable enough to tell you anything and everything. My mom, I think, because of probably her own upbringing, so, and our folks know it. It's very recent that I look at my mom and my sister before she passed on, and I ask myself, was this the same person that brought us up? Because she's kind of relaxed about a lot of things now. One, maybe she's grown. She's too old now to chase my sister around to hit her like she would with me. But On the other side too, they didn't have that friendship with their parents. They were afraid of them. So we kind of got it. But these days, our kids are not shy to tell us when they want something, when they're going through something. So I advise that, yes, let them know that you can't do this when it comes to me, but you can be comfortable enough with me to tell me what you're going through. We live in a society where we've been told that at every point in time in your life, there's a phase you have to go through. You can't be 35, 36, 37 and still be doing your masters, be working at a good job and all that, and then everybody starts looking at you that, so how come you're not married? How come you don't have kids? We live in a society where we've made everybody create a phase for our lives. I'm not saying marriage is bad. I am married. But on the other hand, we are creating the impressions to especially a lot of young ladies that marriage is all rosy. And it is not. Marriage is a lot of hard work. Two imperfect people, different backgrounds coming together to create a perfect life. And you have your training, I have my training, we are coming together. It's different how your parents brought you up. It's different how my parents brought me up. And you're joined together and you want to create a life. I remember one of my pet peeves was raising the loo and leaving it when you pee. And I know a lot of women don't like that. But men don't see the fuss about that. You come from work, you leave your shoes where you sit and you dump your socks into them. I know a lot of women say they don't like that. But men are comfortable wherever they are and they will do that. We create a lot of impressions, false impressions to people out there that I think we should do ourselves and them a lot of favor by telling them the truth about a lot of things. It's unfortunate my mom and my dad separated very early. We were fortunate enough at some point to have a father figure in our life. But for most parts of our lives, we call my mother the Calabar woman. She was baking, she was a air hostess, she was selling flour to people, she was selling provisions, which my brother, my sister, and I, we ate half of. And you ask yourself, why? I remember at some point she would say that I'm doing all this not for my sake. If for me, I'll just have a little to eat and I'm done. But I have the three of you that I can't fail you. To make you comfortable enough so that you won't end up like me. At least you will get a good job to do and you won't have to be dependent on anybody. So right from the onset, she showed us that you need to be independent of yourself before any other person comes in. Because if you're not independent of yourself, it means that you can't even think for yourself. And that is when you get into a lot of trouble with a lot of people. You fall into a lot of trouble because at every time you're relying on this person, you're relying on that person, and you're comparing yourself to other people. So I kind of blame us women too because we are not truthful enough to our fellow sisters about a lot of things. I started journalism from GBC and moved on to Choice FM. I stayed in Choice FM for about 3 years. I was hosting programs and all that. But there's something that journalists call Soli. I mean, how many events can you go to and get Soli at every time? And I think that it's also to do with the fact that when you get to a certain position or a certain place in life, you become so comfortable that you stay there and never improve on yourself. I did quite other jobs too. My last job was the public relation and marketing person I was the head of my department for a real estate company. And I asked myself that in the next 10 years, where would I want to be? I think every human being, if not the end of the year, because that's something my husband and I, we do at the beginning of every year. This is what we set up to do this year. At the end of December, were we able to do this, that? What held us back? Next year, what are we adding on to it? Are we going to do this too? You should be able to set priorities for yourself. You should be able to set goals for yourself that at every point in time, this is what I want to achieve. I had to leave my field, not because I love journalism, I love broadcasting, I love the entertainment aspect of it. Friends who went to school with me and they see what I'm doing now will tell you that she's doing what she's always wanted to do. That's my passion. I went into main field corporate work because at some point in time we all feel that, well, that's what I have to do. I can bet my last dime that there are a lot of people who even now work in banks that it is not their passion, but they're doing it because they have to earn a living. There's nothing as great as doing what you really love to do and making money out of it. If it's sewing you want to sew, if it's shoes you want, I have a friend who Diva Delicious, Sandy. Sandy is a nurse by profession, but she does bags, she does hats, she does accessories because she loves doing stuff like that and she's making money out of it. I have friends who have led corporate work to do events because that's what they want to do. And even with that, you get a lot of people who come up to you after you do talks and stuff, and so, me too, I want to do events. Me too, I want to be a journalist. And I ask a lot of people, do you want to do it because I am doing it and you think I'm a role model, or you want to do it because you love that profession? That's the question we should all ask ourselves at every time. Am I doing this because I love doing it, I want to make money out of it, or I love doing it because everybody else is doing it at this point in time, so I'm going to do it too? So it's not about being a go-getter, it's about setting your mind on your goals, saying that this is what I want to do at this point in time, and it doesn't matter the obstacles, because trust me, you will get obstacles. I got a sister who told me this morning that everyone needs a Judas to move on in life. They push you towards your destiny, towards your next goal, and it's the same way. We all need that push ourselves. Inspire yourself that, it doesn't matter what is happening, I am going to do it. I was working in the real estate company before he came. It's unfortunate or fortunate. It's always, I always say, it's always good to wait on the Lord, because people see us with our son now and they assume that because he's 3, we probably got married just 2 or 3 years ago and we had him, but they don't know that we are 2 old souls. He didn't come as early as we expected. We had a lot of issues before he came. That's a whole new story for another day. But after he came, yes, I resumed work at 3 months with him. And then my office was on the Spintex route. I was going to work. We leave home. Spintex wasn't as good as it is now. So the earliest you leave home is 6 a.m. Imagine going to work with a 3-year-old baby. You get him, you push him out of his normal routine, wake him up, dress him, feed him quickly, then you put him in his car seat and you both leave for work. He's going to be in traffic in the morning. You're in traffic for no less than an hour. You get to the office. I had a nanny who comes to the office during the day. Sometimes I would be in meetings and then I would hear my baby crying out there. And I'll come back from the meeting and I'll ask the nanny that, what is wrong with him? And she'll say, she doesn't know. She knows she's giving him his food and all that, and he won't stop crying. So there are times when in the office, you be holding him on your lap and you be typing your reports. Because it was a real estate company, most of the guys from the field will come around. By the end of the day, he would have changed about 5 times, because everybody that comes is from the field, so when they hold him, he kind of gets messy with their stuff and all that. But he just wanted to be held. He was a baby. So one morning, whilst we were getting ready for work, it kind of, I just heard it, that quiet, still voice that, you've been longing for a baby. You've gone through stuff before your child came. Is this how you want to bring up your child? Is the work more important than that child that you so longed for? Because we went back, we had our weighings and stuff, we went back to weighing, and his weight kept dropping. And I knew deep down that it was dropping because he wasn't having enough sleep, he wasn't having enough food as he would want to, and I was not being fair on him. So it was a decision to leave the job that came with very good pay, and perks and commissions, because we were selling houses for not less than, the cheapest houses we were selling was for $150,000. Yes. You were going to leave, you had a company car and everything. You were going to leave all that and come and stay at home and take care of your child. It's not a guarantee when you go back, that position you were in a management position, you would go back to that position, because they don't leave it vacant for you to go and roam and come back. Whilst you're even there, somebody wants that position. So how much more when you walk out? It means that your husband or whoever it is going to be the sole breadwinner in the family now. It was a lot of decision. So I sat down with my husband and we kind of talked about it. But the funny thing was, around that time too, the company filed for bankruptcy. So that was reason enough for me to say, okay. Then, because at that time, elections, change of governments, people weren't really buying houses like they would buy. So I said, okay, then let me stay home and take care of him for a year and a half. But I wasn't staying home for just staying home sake. I think after God, my husband says that he knows that's what I'll say, but after God, my son is probably the one thing that I would kill for and not think twice about it. And staying home with him, I enjoyed it, but it became a routine of, we know what babies go through. Get up in the morning, eat, bath, and sleep again, and you're sitting waiting for him, and you're watching all the soaps on TV, all the channels, you know what comes after. So one day I just said, okay, I know in my neighborhood there's this school there, kids come. Why don't I start selling ice cream? So I started doing ice cream, and I did it how I would love my ice cream to be like, and I was selling it to this kids. Of course, I ate half of it. I started selling. I made a few of the people who were distributing the sachet water. They started bringing me. I became a distributor for them. I was selling in bags in my house. I was selling ice block and all that. Then some morning, we went for a friend's function and came back, and I realized that every time we go for functions, I indirectly end up always doing stuff for people. Oh, this person needs to be saved. That person needs this. Oh, this wasn't set right. Let me do this. Let me do that. So I was like, okay, I can do this and make money out of it, because I naturally love doing events. But then on the other hand, am I going to do weddings? Because we have people who have set up proper offices doing wedding planning as their main backbone. People know them. Am I going to do parties? We have people who have also set up to do parties. So yes, I started my first, for some funny reason, I think at every point in time when God tells you that this is the next stage you take in life, He has something waiting for you to do. When my son turned 1, the next day we took him to school, because my husband said, look, I know you want to work. It's time you started looking for a job again. And we did write applications. We did send it to offices. Let me say that it is only by the grace of God that you can look some people in the face and say that, listen, you wanted me to play ball before you gave me a job. I'm glad I did not do it. Because what would I even tell people who ask, oh, you got this job, how did you get this job? Because a lot of them will tell you, yes, your CV is good, yes, you are qualified for the job, but there are other people waiting, so why don't you play ball? It happens, not once, not twice, not 3 times. It does happen. The client asked me, hey, what's a professor? And I said yes. I said, hey, and I will Peace FM. I said yes, because because I was home most of the time, I would listen to most of the entertainment programs that was on radio, and entertainment review on Peace FM was the main thing I was listening to. Then I'll send Kwesi a text, the host of the program. I'll send him a text when I think there's something, and I will send the text. I think this person didn't do this right. That person. So one day he just called me and said, "Wa no kati na the senators no come and defend one on the radio." So I said, "Oh, unfortunately, I was pregnant, so there was when I was late pregnant, so there was no way I could do that." Then he said, "Okay, still think about it. When you're done having your baby, let me know." So in the midst of, okay, what will I do? What will I do? I called him and I said, "I think I'm ready to do entertainment review." Fortunately, because I had done radio before, I wasn't too scared of radio and I went on the show. I am happy to say that it was one of the best career decisions I have ever made, and I'm happy to say that one of my fondest memories is my other panel members saying that when it comes to the women on the show, I seem to know how to rock the boat, and I just thank God for that. And another very fond memory was the owner of Peace FM, Despite Group of Companies, Despite himself, see me at an event. I didn't even know he knew my name and all that, and he's saying that you do well. For me, I would take that over any medal or anything, because it means that I was really making, and I have gotten a lot of people. Definitely you do get enemies because you step on a few toes. You do get a lot of enemies. You do get people who will send in messages and stuff and say that you seem to be the only lady among the guys and every time. But when you love what you do, you always want it on a certain pedestal. So that happened. But going on the show, then starting the event thing, for every time that my name is mentioned and they say that, "Oh, she does events," you never know who is listening out there. And let's not kid ourselves, Peace FM has the numbers. So people do listen, and they would call the reception and say that, "Oh, I want her number because I want her to do my event." For somebody who was not even look at, my first client said, "I'm leaving my wedding in your hands." Wow. Everything from the protocol to the reception. The only place I didn't handle was the church, because he said their church had a way of doing things. But everything from the reception, everything, I leave it in your hands. And after we delivered, it's been the grace of God. But I just decided that weddings, yes, I would do them once a while. But my main focus, I realized that I go to events and you realize that they don't have protocol services for events, mainstream events, concerts, musical shows and stuff. So I said, okay, I can do this. And I started bit by bit by bit. This year's been amazing because we've gotten clients who have come after one event or the other, and they tell you that now every time, you know that at every point in time they are having events, you're working with them. For some of them, you actually move in to stay in their office with them. Wow. So the event is over. You actually work from the office. So you go from morning, fortunately, because they know that they know your worth too. So they give you that time. You're able to take your child to school, come, and then you close early to go and pick up your son. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing, but it's been a lot of hard work too, because it is our job that if you're not doing the job, how would somebody else recommend you to another person? I get people who see me in traffic and they're like, "Oh, I came to this event and you did so well." For me, that is what makes my day. Oh, I even have this person who wants to do protocol, but I told them that the best person to handle this is you. I got a friend who called me that they were in a meeting and somebody said, "Oh, they needed a mouthpiece for events and stuff," and somebody mentioned my name. It's like, as for Whitney, if you want the premium proper, then you go and deal with her. You don't just go and do anything by her. And I said, I love that. And he said, yes, I was even proud when they said that, because it showed your pedigree. It showed that they can't mess about with you. So it's a lot of hard work. Unfortunately, people just see the glamorous side of it. They don't know what goes into it, what you have to do. I have stopped trying to dress up for events. If you ask me, I don't even have any attire. If you tell me we have a dinner now, it will be hard for me. I'll have to go to the shop to go and either sew something or buy something, because this day is all about the jeans, and I put on my easy top and I'm running around in circles at either the conference center or the dome. But that is what I enjoy doing, and it's easier too because it's my passion. So it comes with a headache. It comes with dealing with a lot of people from different backgrounds. The last I heard, somebody at an event said I was a house help. They call you names. But then if it's not your passion, if somebody should call you names at an event, you will beat up the person. But if it's your passion, you learn how to deal with it. I do grooming services for a lot of young university girls too, because I know it's the young ladies of these days is a lot of wahala. Dressing, makeup, shoes, everything. They are also the impressionable age. They think life is all about the biggest Brazilian hair and the shoes, but a lot more goes into it. How you talk to people, how you talk in a room, how you talk outside, how you eat in public, so we'll get there. I play ball to climb the corporate ladder. Then I get there and I don't even have the experience. When I'm given a target to meet at the end of every quarter, at the end of every month, am I going to play ball to meet that target? When I am standing in front of this year, I was honored by Woman 2.1 to host. They've been given a citation by the U.S. Congress, and I was part of the few women that were chosen this year. I've had something written about me by Reuters. I didn't even know. And I Googled, and it's even a friend who said, Google this thing and you find out your name is there and you're a celebrity. I was like, no, I'm not. So he said, well, that's what's there. Now, when we Google on the net, your name comes up as a celebrity. And I said, I'm not. I keep defending it every time that I'm not a celebrity. I do events. But I asked myself that and I said this at the Woman 2.1 Summit, that for the number of times that I will stand in front of you and impact on you, if I had played ball, I won't even be convicted by what I am saying, because I know that I got this by playing ball. But it is because I have worked so hard at doing this, so I have that belief that you can also do it. You play ball together, but will it sustain you? A lot of them assume, and I have had one of my girls who, thank God now she's more serious with her book. She said, Auntie Whitney, you seem to know a lot of people. Me, when I get to your position, I also want to do that, even if it means sleeping around. Gosh. So when she said that, I let it slide because we were working. But after we finished working, I called her and I asked her that, does she think that I know all these people because I sleep around? And she said, well, that's the norm. That was where I knew that we were in trouble. Because I can hold my head up high and walk to some of the corporate offices, and probably I would get a preferential treatment because I do jobs for them. But it is because of how I carry myself. If I go and everybody in the company knows that, oh, she slept with this head, that head, that head, that head. The moment you're coming in, everybody starts looking at you with a different eye. Yes. One of my dearest clients, I walk into their company and I go and have lunch with most of the staff, or they see me and they say, okay, they even tell people that, oh, she's a non-paying staff here. But that is the kind of relationship you establish. You let people know your worth, your value. You can't play ball forever. You can't. At some point, you will grow old and they will pick up on the next person. And trust me, men do talk as much as women talk, if not more. They will tell their other friends, oh, I've finished with it. It's your turn to try it. And by the time you realize, in one circle, you've gone round the same people. And they will tell other people too. Accra may seem big, but it's a small place. So you can't play ball forever. You can't. If you don't grow old, your system will grow old. And you will definitely get up, but what will sustain you there? And you see, it is these people that will give other sisters a bad name, because then we make all the other young ones believe that to get there, then it means that you need to play ball. And it is because now we have chipping our hard work to, you need the latest car, you need the latest, you need to stay at East Airport Hills, you need to wear the most expensive wig, you need to have a certain kind of friends. So it's no longer about how hard you work, but who you're wearing. Or this was on the fashion walkway in Paris, and I'm the first person to wear it here. So now a lot of our young girls are buying fake goods at ridiculous prices because they also want to belong. And that is not the kind of example we would want to set for them. So it's about us telling them and being truthful to ourselves too. You see a lot of women, the women who have worked hard at getting to where they are now, you see them and you see their worth. And you see that when you see this person, there's a value to the person. There are some people, you talk to them for 2 seconds and you get bored. Because if it's not about, oh, that shoe is not, of course we all love good shoes. I love shoes. Oh, that bag is nice. Yes, we do all love nice things. But how is the economy of Ghana now? Yeah. And they're stuck. Yeah. Oh, I hear they say the dollar is now. That's not what I'm talking about. What is driving our economy now? What are we expecting with the new government? You should be able to stand in front of corporate people and impress them not with only what you're wearing or how beautiful your face is, but what's up here. I hate maths. Everybody who knows me, my friends say that I hate maths, but I love counting money. Of course. My husband is an accounts person, straight. But I had to learn stuff about his job, because I'll definitely go to the company end of year dinner with him. I would meet his friends. They will be talking about their job. And I'm standing there and I'm smiling. You need a lot more to yourself than the fickle things. Yes, they're good, but you need a lot more to it. At the end of the day, I always tell people that get as much education as you can, because it's the one thing that nobody will take away from you. I always say that I haven't stopped trying to be better myself every year. You need to be better than what you were the previous years. And all I can say is it takes a lot to get to where you want to get. It's hard work and more hard work. There's always, when I started working before I got married, living on my own, there were days when I could be, my neighbor would come, she's an elderly woman, she'll come and knock on my door and ask that, "Hey, Whitney, are you there?" And she was like, "I haven't seen you the whole weekend." I come, everything is indoors. I've done my grocery shopping, everything, so I'm indoors. And I'm enjoying my sleep, my movies, and I'm indoors. The time when now I'm working, I can do whatever I want to do in town. I would rather concentrate on my job. Work into a job. Let them take you because you have something to offer up here than what you have to offer in between your legs. Because trust me, when you get that job because you played ball, when he gets a much more prettier person who is going to play ball again, they will find a reason to fire you. And when you play ball to get jobs and they're firing you, they don't think twice about it. They don't, because, what else are you offering? You're there because somebody did you a favor. Let them think twice before they tell you that there's no way I'll let you go. You have a lot more to offer deep down within you than what you even, if I always go by this: please God, please yourself, please man. If you can't dream dreams that will scare you enough that, can I do this? Yes, I will. Then you're not dreaming enough. Then you're not setting enough goals for yourself. That is all I want to tell them. They are much more capable than what they've been made to believe, that you need to open up your legs before you get what you want in life. You can't do it forever.